Connelly Early, excellent again last night. 5 1/3 innings, 1 run earned, though he didn't allow it.
No.
Greg Weissert did. It's kind of his thing. 5 hits, no walks, 7 Ks on 80 pitches. Crowd was into it last night. They turned real quick on the Red Sox. Ugly, ugly loss. Potentially a very costly loss for the Red Sox. Who do you blame for last night, and do you trust them to turn it around and still limp into the postseason? Again, 617-779-7937. We'll get to your thoughts on that coming up. We'll get into Early and what his role would be should the Red Sox get to October. I think that's what Cora was holding him out for, was October, should they get there. But since we're playing Mike Monaco there alongside Will Fleming in the booth, it was a big night in the Sox booth last night.
Huge night in the booth.
We should have mentioned this earlier.
I know. Hogdale.
The Hog.
Hogdale was all over Fenway Park.
He was
literally watching this team right now.
I don't disagree with the Hog. He was literally all over Fenway Park last night.
He was in the booth, but he wasn't mic'd up. I was confused by that.
No, trust
tonight,
me,
though?
I saw he was in there. I think he's going to get an inning tonight.
Yeah, they gotta worry about him.
They had to talk to him.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, so Fleming talked about him in the booth last night.
At length.
yeah, for sure. But he didn't actually get in there.
All right, well, good.
Hang on. Fleming said late night.
So I saw the photos. Bradford had photos of all those guys in there.
Yep.
It was Fleming, Monaco, and Hogg, and it was like, these are the 3 best home run calls in baseball.
Late night at the old ball yard tomorrow, Fleming tweeted out. Playoff implications off the charts. Hogdale will be on the air with us. This is now tonight.
Okay, tonight's game.
Rumors that Carabas may grace the presence as well. He says, I promise I will try to get Hogg to say eat crap, but he didn't write crap. So I don't know.
Will's trying to get him to swear on the air. That's his thing.
I guess.
All right.
Well, Will might be looking over his shoulder a little bit.
A little bit.
He might say, hey, as a young whippersnapper, it's a go-getter. He's calling football now.
It is Hogg's calling card.
Maybe I got to watch my back, so he's trying to get him.
Let's
go! Trying to get him canceled.
Will Warren is a dog loser.
He is the new Joe Buck.
Yeah.
Right, doing football and baseball on the same day.
Yeah.
Not a lot of guys do that.
Yeah, no, I get Will's trying to get him canceled. I get it. Get him fired before he even starts. Good move.
Well,
go
watch
it back.
Always looking forward to the broadcast, even more so tonight. That should be good.
I have, and this is a potential brag of the week.
And you can't take your eyes off his mom.
I have slid into the Hogs DMs.
Have you?
I'm trying. We're at Fenway
I'm
tomorrow.
sure that's a scene. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff in there. But that's good. Any response yet?
Not yet.
You've reached out to him? No, okay.
Look.
Probably sleeps in. My guess is Hog sleeps in.
He's probably used to Central Time.
Yep.
So, he's here on the East Coast. Probably a big night last night.
My guess is he was getting after it last night.
A lot of ball players. They're out late. They wake up a little late the next day.
Yeah.
So no, I have slid into the Hogs DMs. We'll try to get him to stop by when we're at Fenway tomorrow, leading up to the series finale.
It'd be a nice visit.
I agree.
Yeah.
Red Sox have something in Connelly Early?
So I want to say yes. I also thought they had something right away in Peyton Tolley after his first start, and then he followed that up with a not-so-great start. Not the case for Connelly Early. It is the same team, though. So you do have to factor that in. He does dominate the A's.
Right. If Tolley got 2 starts against the Pirates, maybe that would have looked differently.
But you could also argue that, all right, it's a major league lineup, and it is the first time it was a group that hadn't seen him. Now it's a group that has seen him, and so maybe they'd be able to get to him, and they didn't. So, yeah, I like to think so. I mean, these are 2 guys that sort of got fast-tracked up through the system, and what's not to like? We've only seen 2 starts. He's given up 1 run thanks to Weissert in 10 1/3. He's not walking anybody. He's striking a bunch of guys out. Seems to have, a bunch of different pitches that are effective. So, yeah, I like him. I'm not going to go crazy and be like, hey, you don't even need to bring Giolito back next year or whatever. But if you have the 3 guys at the top of your rotation back, obviously Bayo and Crochet are back. We'll see what happens with Giolito. But if you have Tolley and Early or whatever, I'll take that.
Maybe Harrison.
And and honestly, competition's good. Let those guys kind of fight for it, and whoever the 2 best guys are in spring get the job. But another name that I certainly wasn't factoring into a potential playoff run or the rotation to start next year. He wasn't on my radar.
I mean, look, Peyton Tolley wasn't on my radar in April, but that's a name we had heard about throughout the year.
Well, because we kept also hearing towards the trade deadline, all right, he's your top pitching prospect. So you're like, okay, we knew who that was.
So that one was at least, on our radar. Connelly Early was not on my radar until 2 weeks ago. Now, maybe that's me having my head in the sand. I don't know. But a couple of weeks before his first start, wasn't even on my radar at all.
But looking at Sox prospects.
Never mind coming up and pitching the way he has.
Sox prospects, they do a great job. They have they rank every guy in the system, basically. So if you can pull up their top 60 prospects just for the Red Sox. And Obviously, some of those guys have graduated on. Some of them haven't, right? So, like, for example, Peyton Tolley is still the number one prospect in the Red Sox system, according to Sox Prospects. You know where Connelly Early ranks?
5th.
8th.
Oh.
Right. And he's already up. He's already leapfrogged a couple of guys who are pitchers. Now, some of them are, Kyson Witherspoon just got drafted. But there are a few other guys that are playing in Worcester or playing in Portland that he is ahead of, or he is below on those rankings. So that's why we weren't really talking about him a lot. And then he shows up and 2 starts in, and he looks like he belongs.
So, look, you may not even get to October. If you do, you may not need a 4th starter if you get bounced early by Seattle. And the way that would work is you're right now, season ends today, you're going to Seattle for 3 games. You got to win 2 there to advance to the divisional round. So when would you even need a 4th starter? I don't know. But he's your 4th starter in the postseason if and when you need it as of today.
Well, yeah, because in this is going to sound like not really a compliment to him, but if it's not him, who is it?
I mean, I don't
think it's Tolley.
I don't either, because with the one pitch that he has, it's electric.
The heater?
That's going to play a lot better out of the bullpen. Yeah. And Early does, to his credit, even if he doesn't have the ceiling of Peyton Tolley, he's got a good pitch mix. And that works more as a starter, where Tolley's been a little bit exposed in that regard.
Yeah, and I think just the idea of having him come out of the bullpen, you'd maybe feel a little bit better about, to get a tough lefty, get like a spot in the order. If the biggest issue right now for Cora is the 6th and 7th inning, add that to the mix, right? Can you put him in there, right? Because if the starter can go, I mean, hopefully you're talking about the starter going 6, and then it's really just the 7th inning for him to figure out in a close game, and like you should be able to do that.
We were talking about the reliever coming in there. If Cora's hands are tied and Breslow and Baseball Ops demanded he pulled Early at 80 pitches, which is not what Cora said, and Early pitched more in his first, I don't believe that, but maybe you do. Fine. He didn't have to go to Greg Weissert.
No.
He didn't have to do that. We gave you the numbers earlier on Weissert and the inherited runners that he's allowed to score. This year it's 7 out of 27.
Yeah.
Slayton, who has not pitched great, looked really good in the 7th last night in a clean inning. Slayton has allowed 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
So who's the better righty to bring into that spot? Maybe it's hindsight, but Slayton's probably the name. Brendan is in the car. Go ahead, Brendan.
I got a few things concerning the pitch counts. You talk about getting through 6 and all that. Let me just give you I'm a really old guy, so I go way back. Let me give you some information from the past and see if you can explain it.
Great.
Okay.
Last season in Major League Baseball, there were 28 complete games. In 1 year of his career, Bob Gibson had 28 complete games.
Okay.
And I wonder what Nolan Ryan's record would have been if he was on a 100 pitch count.
Oh, wow. We're going to have to crunch some numbers on that, Brendan. But
I'll do you one better.
Yeah. How many did Cy Young pitch?
In 1884, Old Hoss Radburn had 73 complete games.
How about that?
So every time he got it, he closed the game out.
Bob Gibson, kind of a wuss by comparison, actually.
11 shutouts.
Yeah.
Do you know how many innings, Brendan, that Old Hoss Radburn pitched in 1884? 678 and 2/3.
It was a bit of a different game than with the dead ball and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was the dead ball. I agree.
He was only 5'9". He was still ripping it.
You know the name Mike Marshall?
Of course.
Mike Marshall was a damn good pitcher.
Right.
Uh-huh.
He also got a PhD in kinesthesiology at Michigan State.
Sure.
Wow.
And he oftentimes said that the more pitches a pitcher throws, the stronger his arm gets. It's not the number of pitches, it's the delivery, it's the way the arm turns and all that kind of stuff.
Got it.
Certainly.
And,
okay.
So
I think, Brendan, let me put a bow on this. I think you disagree with Cora pulling Early there. I think is what he's saying. You think that's what
Pitch
it
him
is?
more. Pitch him more.
Pitch him more.
We can boil that down to
maybe
pitch
he's
more.
less critical of Cora and more the direction of baseball and the analytics and trying to protect these arms where you try to protect them, but they all get hurt anyways. Okay. So
Old Hoss that year?
Yeah.
60 wins. You think anybody's going to top that?
I mean,
he had 60 wins.
If you're going to go to Bob Gibson, you might as well go to Old Hoss Radburn.
You know what his last thing on Old Hoss Radburn?
Yeah, okay.
Do you know what his WAR was that year?
10.
19.2.
Wow.
Yeah.
I looked up.
It was a different game. I understand.
I looked up our
better
guy,
game.
Hollis Thurston. You may know him as Sloppy
I
Thurston.
do know him as Sloppy Thurston.
I looked him up. Not as many complete games as I was hoping.
That's a shame.
Yeah, he did throw 28 complete games in 1924 to match the great Bob Gibson.
Pretty good.
But the numbers left a little to be desired. They might have overpitched
No, he
him that
wasn't
year.
great. Yeah, no, it was too
3.80 ERA.
Could have been too much.
Yeah, I would have dialed him back a little bit. Maybe pull him around 80 pitches. So there you go. Good stuff there on the analytics in baseball, the direction of the sport. It has changed quite a bit over the last century. Yeah.
Rather golfing. Did he have a war or was he fighting in a war? Good point.
Well,
a lot of these guys also did both. They'd throw a complete game, fight some war.
Well, back then he might have gone to like 3 different wars.
He might have been in any of the wars.
Yeah, Old Haas might have been in the Civil War.
I was going to say
I shudder to think of which side he was on, but he might have been there.
I'm not going to ask him. Yeah. I'm not going to ask him.
Please don't.
Yeah.
And then
it turned into a whole thing.
I mean, he could have World War I's in play. I don't think he was
War of
making
1812. He might have been kicking around in. He's in. Yeah.
Good point.
But a Hall of Famer nonetheless.
All right, well, good insight as always on the phones. We like to have conversations with the callers. We've been called out for not having conversations with the callers, so let's have a conversation.
That was great.
At 617-779-7937.